now we'll talk about equipment that might help the person who is at risk for falling within their home. The first thing, again, as we mentioned earlier, is for many people, it's just be as simple as using some type of gait aid. And by gait aid, we mean walker, cane, hemi walker, or quad cane. So let's first talk about at what height should these be set. Now I'm a tall guy, so unfortunately a lot of these won't even adjust up high enough for me. But whether it's a walker or a quad cane or a hemi walker or a regular cane, all the heights should be about the same. Which is, if you are standing and with good posture, and you with your arms relaxed at your side, if you bring your arm forward just slightly, the top of the walker or the top of the cane handle should hit you about on the wrist. So if we bring this over here, I'm standing up in good posture, I bring my arm forward slightly, and you can see this hits me right about on the wrist. And this is about the height I want to be at, whether it's a walker or the cane or a quad cane. Quad means 4, so it's actually got 4 legs to it. Or a hemi walker, and this is a hemi walker, which means it's a half walker, and you can see that you can see our little deer here, but it's got 4 legs, and this is a pretty stable device for if you only got one arm to lean on. Just a couple of quick differences between some of the devices here. Quite often people use a regular walker which has no wheels, but of course you got to pick it up, and that actually does, to me, put you at a little risk, because every time you pick it up you could lose your balance and fall. So I do prefer walkers with wheels. The walker with front wheels and just maybe tennis balls or gliders on the back are more stable than the walkers with 4 wheels. But unfortunately the tennis balls wear out fairly quickly, and even the gliders get wore down fairly fast. So the one with 4 wheels, if you have enough balance for it, are very nice, and as you know, a lot of them have built-in seats now. So you have the brake system on there, you can put the brake on and you can sit down into it, and they're kind of the Cadillac of the walkers right now. What's nice about this versus a regular cane is that it doesn't fall over on you. You're going to find out canes are always falling over on you and you're trying to pick them up or set them up. What I don't like about this though is when you're walking, and you might not be able to see the bottom of this, but when you're walking, it's always kind of unstable. Unless you're a slow walker and you're really deliberate, it's just an unstable base that you're always trying to find where the stability point is. Again, this hemi walker is very good for people who only have one arm to lean on for whatever reason, if you have a stroke or amputation or arthritis, and they can only lean on one side. These are very stable and can move along nicely, so it's a nice option. Let's talk just briefly about wheelchairs. Something you may not know about wheelchairs if you are in one. You can get those with anti-tip bars so that you don't have to worry about the wheelchair tipping over backwards, which can be an issue in going down hills and such. But the other thing that they have is they do have self-locking brakes. If you have someone that forgets to lock their brakes, they do have wheelchairs with devices that actually, every time you stop and you start to get up, it locks itself. So that's just something to keep in consideration. Sit-to-stand chairs. These are kind of a power chair that will take you from sitting to standing. This may be surprising to you, but I do not recommend that you use those. Because what happens with those is that you begin to get very weak whenever you're using one of those. Now, if you have no choice and you can't get out of a chair without it, I would just take it up as high as you need and then still push up on your own. But I can tell the first time I meet somebody and I'm checking their strength in their legs whether or not they use a sit-to-stand chair, because they have just totally lost the muscles that bring you from this position to this position. And as you might recall, the one exercise that we had you do was that sit-to-stand, because that's a great exercise to do. So I would not recommend a sit-to-stand chair unless you absolutely need to have it. Reachers. These are a good thing to keep around the house in a lot of different areas. You're not going to be able to see this, but I'll drop a pen. I mean, they can pick up the smallest object without any difficulty. This saves you from trying to pick stuff off the floor, which is often a time where people fall, and you can also pick things up higher, on higher shelves. There's no reason, if you have trouble with falls, that you should have a lot of these in the household. The same with, grab bars and such. Long-handled shoe horns are another one. You don't have to lean forward to put your shoes on. Some people actually do fall that way, get dizzy, so this is a great way to just slip your shoe in, slip your foot into the shoe when you have the long-handled shoe horn.